The current state of the polls indicates that there are possible three outcomes of the elections. So one is that the Conservative Party wins with a big majority, let's say 40, 60 seats. The other one is that they win with about 20, 30 seats. The third one is that there would be a hung parliament. The differentiation between the first and the second, 40, 60 versus 20 to 30 seats, is important because it will show whether, it will indicate whether after the elections, when it comes to actually negotiating the real long-term relationship with the EU, whether the right wing of the Conservative Party and also Nigel Farage with his Brexit party will still have some power to push the government towards a hard Brexit or even a no deal Brexit, which would be a possible outcome at the end of the elections. The hung parliament, on the other hand, if the Tories don't win overall majority, would mean that there is another referendum. And then, of course, a possibility exists that the Brexit would be revised, might not take place at all. Let me come to some underlying things we observed during the electoral campaigns. What again emerged, we started a few months ago with a picture of the politics in the UK, which was seen as 20-20-20-20, yeah? Meaning that apart from the Conservatives and the Labour Party, which have all moved down to about 20 percentage point polling success, there were two other parties, namely the Brexit party, the follower party of the UKIP party, and the Liberals also gaining close to 20% of the vote. Now, it is quite astonishing how quickly that eroded, and we are back to a two-party race, with, of course, the Liberal Party still splitting the Remain camp. The Liberal Party is now forecasted to only win just more or less the same number of seats they had in the last parliament, about 13, 15 seats, but they still have a vote share of about 13% of the vote currently. And that, of course, is a split of the Remain vote camp, as compared to the Tories, which have more or less eroded completely the vote share of the Brexit party. Of course, also due to Nigel Farage deciding he's not going to stand in in those seats which Conservative members of Parliament are likely to win. Well, the UK economy, as we know, has long-term structural problems, which also emerged quite strongly in this election, but also previous elections, which is enormous, and of course in the Brexit vote as well, that there are huge regional inequalities, which have a long historical legacy now, that the northern regions, but also places like Wales and so on, have been suffering for a long time from regional decline, very often linked to the decline of manufacturing industry, while the southeast around London has been booming in land prices, but also in terms of employment and upgrading in certain activities. Now, Brexit will mean an accentuation of these structural problems, because the north, one thought there might be a rebalancing which might take place, that the north will get better transport infrastructure, there will be a possible recovery of manufacturing, but this will get a big hit because manufacturing in Europe is now highly dependent on cross-border production linkages, and these will be seriously affected by Brexit. And on top of that, of course, if you don't have these linkages, the North and UK, especially in manufacturing, will be less attractive for foreign direct investment. On the other hand, I do believe there are also certain strengths in the UK economy. So the UK economy might stabilize after 6-7 months. Of course, that will be a gradual process. There's a transitory phase now. And but still on the basis of regional imbalances, where the South is relatively well equipped to build up a rather dynamic business services sector. And of course, we also know the UK economy is rather strong has strong universities and a rather strong research base in certain areas like pharmaceuticals and so on. So in that sense, if you cater for that regional constituency and the people who are pretty well trained and also attract international scientists, researchers, students, so on, I think the British economy could be well placed in those areas to do well in an international context. On the other hand, income inequalities, the deficiencies of public services and so on will continue. Brexit, of course, will also mean that there is a general slowdown of growth, and therefore the fiscal space with less tax income will be much less than the current big spending programs of the party seem to indicate. Well, with Brexit, the EU, and that is quite well known, loses the second largest economy within the EU. It loses a major contributor to foreign policy and military strength. It's a nuclear deterrent. It's one of the two countries in Europe which had a seat on the Security Council. So these are well-known sort of shrinkage of the European Union on the international space in terms of foreign policy and military strength. On the other hand, we have also seen in the Brexit campaign and in the debates that during the negotiations with the EU, it has brought the other EU members together in relation of negotiating with Britain. However, I would think that these coming together will be a short-lived phenomenon because other issues will emerge more strongly, like relations to the EU, next round of enlargement, how one stands in relation to the next financial program, and these will be issues where severe tensions within the EU are going to take place.